Translated to user language. Terran Common Tongue. Forward. This is my log from when I was the first officer of the cargo ship Frakalat. I've decided not to remove or alter any of the entries, and have made the appropriate apologies. So don't get too angry with me. My mind was on survival, above all else. First Officer's Log. 6146. 489 654. I am surprised I'm able to make this recording, as the trap we found ourselves in was a good one. 4 pirate vessels pulled us out of FTL and got the jump on us. A couple of lucky shots took out the bridge of 2 of them early, and the rest took some time. Unfortunately, the captain fell out of his chair and is no longer with us. While we managed to destroy the pirate ships, our ship was nearly destroyed as well and might soon be. Our engines are offline, maneuvering thrusters offline, FTL comms offline, and I was told, so is the coffee maker, which is the real shame. Hopefully my next entry will contain some better news. First Officer's Log. 6146 489 657. We have some good news. One of the pirate ships we destroyed turned out to be adrift alongside us, close enough that we could use our suits to get over there and salvage some parts. We also found 3 pirates who managed to get to a bunk and lock themselves in. They are trapped there and begging for help. I'm going to take a vote among the crew, as there are some who don't feel right leaving them there to die. One suggested we just force open the doors to speed things along. I like to think we are better than that, so we'll vote. First Officer's Log. 6146 489 658. The vote wasn't as close as I thought it was going to be. We pressurized the area on the other side of the door with suits for them. 2 Davas and a Borcat. The Borcat might be a problem as they are a brutish species, but this one seems to be more interested in survival than being the strongest. And the Davas might be cunning, but they know we are their best chance of survival. Won't try anything until we are close to being rescued. Surprisingly, our human came up with a brilliant idea. We have no way of telling ships that come into the area which way we went, so we are going to release some unshielded containers with enough radioactive material to last 20 years. I believe he called it breadcrumbs. I'm not sure how the crumbs of a food item are going to help us. First Officer's Log. 6146 489 661. I'm glad we voted to help the pirate survivors. While not up to code, they had a fix that got our maneuvering and landing thrusters online, which is good because it appears our current trajectory is going to take us into the gravity well of a planet. The only good thing about that is the planet appears to have a breathable atmosphere. At least, that is what our scans and information the pirates have told us. We should have arrived at the port today. Hopefully, they'll send out a search patrol and find us before we even make the planetfall tomorrow. First Officer's Log. 6146 489 668. Finally got this thing working again. It seems that for every bad thing that happens, a good thing does as well, and so the other way around. We get ambushed and take 2 out quickly. Win the battle, lost the captain. Got the thrusters working, unable to change course in time to avoid crashing. Everyone survives the crash. Our food preservation box breaks. We ate what we could before it spoiled, and have enough emergency rations to last a week, but I'm afraid the carnivorous species are going to have to make a tough choice. And the herbivore species already know it, I feel. They are getting nervous, but it makes more sense to eat one of the carnivorous members first, as the plants are not deadly to the others. We might pick the human first, even though he is an omnivore. First Officer's Log. 6146 489 671. I think the human knew what was being planned because he vanished into the forest 2 days ago, and hasn't returned. Our scanners are picking up his vital signs, so we know he is still alive, but we can't locate him. I was almost going to talk the others into choosing someone else, as it was like the human was such a boost to morale, talking about how this was just like back home during the scout days. I didn't even know he was in the military. Called himself an Eagle rank. Humans are a primitive species, so it must be a tribal thing, The strange thing is, if he was planning on abandoning us, why didn't he take the water system he built? First Officer's Log, 6146-489-672. I was wrong about Bill, the human. He returned with that cart he had half finished the day before he left, but this was finished, and he had a large creature from the planet on top of it. We aren't sure how he brought down the creature or even loaded it onto the cart. We know humans come from a world with high gravity, but I think it wasn't that high. Even more confusing is that after we prepared the creature, it turned out to be a predatory species. That was when Bill informed us that while the local wildlife of his home planet does get the better of humans sometimes, humans are the apex predators of their world. I thought it was a joke until I saw it with my own eyes. He got a lot more respect from me. None of us informed him what we had planned. First Officer's Log, 6146-489-674. Bill continues to amaze us with his wilderness survival skills, as he calls them. Apparently the scout rank he was talking about wasn't military training. It was a youth group, and Eagle is the highest rank one can achieve in the organization. When things started, we were forced to take shelter in the ship's debris that had crashed, but with his guidance we now have personal quarters for each of us, a dining hall, and water showers that he should have heated in a couple of days. The most surprising thing about all of this is how he hasn't used electricity in any of these constructions. Of course, we are using salvaged heating coils instead of the biofuel he planned to cook our food. First Officer's Log, 6146-489-679. Never go hunting with a human. I thought I was going to die, not from the beast we were after. He would run away, and we figured that was it, but he followed the creature without using a scanner. We walked for 10 hours. Eventually we told him to scout ahead and that we'd catch up. He came back the next day with the creature we were tracking, and we returned to camp. He said he was going to go for a hike to see what else he could find. I don't know how his legs are still working after all that. First Officer's Log, 6146-489-682. Remember how I said I had more respect for the human? I take it back. I can't respect someone who is clearly insane upon further review. On his hike, he came across a young beast that was similar to the one he killed in his first hunt, but instead of killing the thing, he brought it back as a pet. Said the creature's mother had died at the bottom of a cliff and it was alone. The strange thing is, I think the little beast bonded to the human. Said it was okay to pet it, but I nearly lost a finger. He seems attached to the young beast, so I have to figure out a way to kill it without him realizing it was me. First Officer's Log, 6146-489-686. That creature the human brought back has been terrorizing the crew. It stalks the others, and a few have had bite wounds. While the herbivore members are terrified of it, the others seem to be warming up, as the creature seems to enjoy when you slide your hand over its back and gently scratch behind the ears. It even started to walk up to people and gently tap his foreleg against them, until they gave it a pet or a scratch behind the ear. A few times it has scared crew members by getting what the human called the zoomies. It is impressive to see how agile it is as it runs in between legs and furniture, though it has knocked a few things over. It is hard to yell at the creature when it lowers his muzzle and looks up at you with those big sad eyes. First Officer's Log, 6146-489-688. Fang has grown on me, as Bill said it would. It's true, at first I was ready to kill the little warg. I believe that is what we decided on based on the description given. She was very aggressive towards everyone at first, but after socializing with the others, she seemed to view them as part of her pack. She doesn't even stalk the herbivore crew members anymore, though she doesn't seem to get along with the boarcat still. She has also grown quite a lot in the past few days, which tracks with how much she eats. We had to go on extra hunting trips just to feed her. First Officer's Log, 6146-489-690. I knew the pirates would be a problem, but I never thought the Darvaz would be the ones to be the loyal ones. It was rough at first, but the crew had started treating them like one of our own, which is why when the boarcat tried to smash my head in while I was asleep, It came as a surprise. Didn't even try to deny it. Said if we had just died like good weaklings, they would have been rich, and he wouldn't be stuck on this planet with us. He broke free and tried to dig his claws into my neck, but Fang was quicker and sunk her teeth into his. I was planning on rewarding her with him as a meal, but was told it would be bad to let her think eating people she killed was okay. So he ended up tossing his body off a cliff. First Officer's Log, 6146, 489, 694. Things have finally come to an end. We received a subspace transmission from a rescue ship that was heading to our location yesterday. It turns out the trail of radioactive containers helped lead them to us, and the Darfaz have been asking if I would speak on their behalf. I'm inclined, as I thought they would try to sabotage the radio equipment or kill us in our sleep after finding out. Bill is also nervous, but only because he doesn't want to give Fang up, who he has been riding on his hunts, as she is apparently as big as an Earth horse now. I did talk to him in private, as I needed to come clean about what we talked about when we first crashed, and how, if he hadn't left to go hunting that first time, we probably would have eaten him. He took it surprisingly well, and I won't tell the authorities. His right hook hurts.